Hello everyone, welcome to the lecture series on 8051 microcontroller. So in the previous lectures we had discussed on what is timer, so how can we program these timers, uh, what is TMOD register, so what and all the values need to be loaded into TMOD register, and we had come across four different types of modes which are available in timers, and we have discussed in the previous two sessions. We have discussed on mode 1 programming with some of the examples how we need to generate the time delay, and then how actually the frequency need to be calculated, so how actually we can generate a time delay of a given specified time. That and all we had discussed in the previous sessions. So in the today's session we shall look into mode 2 programming, that is out of 4 we are going to discuss mode 2. Even mode 2 programming is similar to your mode 1 programming as well. There are the process flow what you have done in terms of mode 1 programming, it is going to be the same in terms of mode 2 programming as well, but there are little bit changes. Okay, so we shall discuss on what and all are those changes, how can we program the 8051 in terms of mode 2, how can we start those timers and all, that we are going to discuss in today's session. So basically when here in this particular session we will be discussing in terms of we'll be doing the comparisons between mode 1 and then mode 2 in between. Okay, we'll be taking what and all are the scenarios with what we have done in mode 1 programming, that we are going to take, and then we are going to compare it with the mode 2 programming as well. Now coming to the first point over here, by looking at the characteristics of what is this mode 2 programming, as we know that our timers are basically, we have two timers in 8051. One is timer 0 and then timer 1, and both the timers are 16-bit timers, right? So that we have done in terms of how can we program these timers in terms of 16-bit timers, that we had seen in mode 1 programming, that as you can see, each timer does have two different registers in order to load the lower byte and the higher byte. So in order to load the lower byte we are having TL registers for both the timers, and in order to load the higher byte we have TH register for both the timers. So basically if you look at the mode 1 programming, it is basically a 16-bit timer. So the values what we were going to load into these timers, those were varying from where to where. It was varying from 0000 hexa to FFFF hexa. This was what this was in terms of mode 1 programming. But when it comes to mode 2 programming, mode 2 programming is a 8-bit timer. Even though we have two different registers in order to load the lower byte and then higher byte, that we are going to see in the further steps how actually we are going to load the values. Since it is a 8-bit timer, the value what we can load into these particular registers into this timer, that is going to vary from 00 hexa to FF hexa, right? And what we need to observe is that we need to load the way there actually we were loading the values. The lower nibble was loaded into TL register and the higher nibble was loaded into the TH register. But since here this is an 8-bit timer, we will be loading the values to the TH register only. The value should be loaded into TH register. The value which has been loaded into TH register, the 8051 gives a copy of that to my TL register. Here the incrementing part what you are having, right, once you start off the timer, once we start off the timer, the incrementing part what we are having, that is going to be taken care by my TL register itself. So the value which has been loaded into TH register, that is not going to vary at all. As you can observe over here in this particular diagram, the value is being loaded into TH register and the copy has been given into TL register. In this particular incrementing part and the TF flag part, the TH is not there in the picture. Okay, so only if you look at this the arrow mark, only the value is being loaded over here. Okay, once you have loaded the values into TH register, the timer must be started. How actually we are starting the timer? The timer can be started by giving the instructions set bit TR0 for timer 0, and if you want to start with if you want to start timer 1, then we need to give the instruction set bit TR1. After the timer is being started, the TL register starts incrementing, and again you need to observe here the crystal oscillator of the microcontroller is being divided by 12, and so whatever the frequency what we are getting after dividing it by 12, that is given into this particular TL register. So suppose if you are having 11.0592 megahertz as your crystal oscillator frequency, the same frequency is not being given. The 11.0592 megahertz is being divided by 12, and what value we are getting in terms of frequency, you will get somewhere around 921 kilohertz. That particular frequency is being fed into this particular TL register. Okay, so once the timer starts counting, so it reaches to FF hexa from the initial count what we have given. Once the uh, timer reaches FF hexa, it rolls back to 00 hexa and it sets my TF flag to, it will raise my TF flag. Okay, so once the TF flag has been raised, what we need to do, I need to stop my timer, or what we have to do, I need to clear my TF flag. Since we are not altering anything in terms of TH register, the value which is being loaded into this TH register, the initial count, it is not being altered. The value is being altered in my TL register, but the initial count is being safe over here in my TH register. Since it is safe, what this 8051 does is that it will take back the value which is present in TH register and it loads back that value to TL register. In mode 1, what we were doing, once the TF flag is being raised, at that time what we need to do, we need to stop the timer and then I need to clear my TF flag, and then again I need to go back to the loading of the values to TH and then TL. Since it is safe over here in my TH register, the 8051 will take back that value into the TL register, which is the value which is present in TH register. Hence, we call this particular programming as this is an auto reload program. Okay, so there is no need to reload the thing. Once you have started the timer, only what we need to do is that we need to keep an eye on the TF flag. So once the TF flag has been raised, I need to clear my TF flag. Once the TF flag has been cleared, the 8051 will load back the value which is present in TH register to TL register. Again it starts incrementing. So that is why this particular programming is a auto reload program. Okay, now let us look at the steps what we need to do. Okay, now as we know, we have two different timers, that is timer 0 and then timer 1, right? So I need to select this timer 0 or timer 1, and then I need to select my mode, which type of programming I am doing, whether I am doing mode 0 or whether I am doing mode 1 or mode 2 or mode 3. Okay, so these particular things where actually we are doing these particular things we are doing in terms of TMOD register. So first step, I need to load the value indicating which timer I'm going to use and what type of mode I'm using. So once the tmod is being loaded with the values, I need to load my initial count to my th register. Once the th register has been loaded, 8051 will take care of taking a copy of that into tl register. I need to start off my timer. The timer should be started in the step 3, and I need to keep an eye on my TF flag. Once the TF flag has been raised, so how actually we are keeping an eye? We will be keeping an eye on TF register by giving an instruction jump if no bit, right? TF, the X represents, if you are using timer 0, then that value will be TF0, and if you are using timer 1, that value will be TF1. Okay, and then the target is the loop back, where actually it should go back to the loop. Okay, once the TF flag has been raised, we need to get out of that loop, and then I need to clear my TF flag. Once the TF flag has been cleared, it will go back to where? It will be going back to step 4. Since this is an auto reload, there is no need to load the initial count value again. So these are the steps we need to follow if we are doing in terms of mode 2 programming. Okay, now let us look into some of the examples how actually the loading and all those things is being done. So here let us look at this particular example. They have said uh, we are having an crystal oscillator with a frequency of 11.0592 megahertz, and we need to find out the frequency for the given program. Okay, and this particular program, what it does is that it is going to generate a square wave on p1.0. Okay, so this following program does that particular thing. Now here you can observe, let us look into the program, what actually the program is. Now here they have given tmod register to be 20. Okay, now here you can observe the value to be what it is, an immediate value, that is 20. Now you can observe here I'm having this value, so since it is 2 0 0 1 0, and then since it is 0, I'll be loading these values with the 0. Okay, so since the mode what we are using, mode 2 what we are using, it has been loaded into what? It is being loaded into my timer 1. That this means that this particular instruction means that timer 1 is being used. Okay, now since timer 1 is being used, they have used the th1. Okay, that means my the higher nibble of my timer 1. So they have loaded the initial value to be what? They have loaded the initial value to be 5. Okay, now since my register is an 8-bit number. Okay, so now what you can observe is that since it is a 8-bit number, so it is going to be 2 raised to 8, so it is going to vary from 0 to 255. This is in terms of my binary. So total increments what I'm going to have is, if you take in terms of decimal, the total values what I'm going to have, it is going to be 256, right? Why 256? Because here we have even considered the 0 to be one value. That is why it is going to vary from 0 to 255. The counts what we are going to get is going to be 256. Okay, now if you look at the thing, the step 1 they have done with what? Loading the tmod loading the values to tmod register, and then load the values, the initial count, to my th1 or the th register. And the step 3 is what? The step 3 is start the timer. Since we have used timer 1, we are using set bit tr1, start the timer 1. Once the timer has been started, at that time what I should do, I should keep an eye on what? I should keep an eye on my TF flag. So here we had an instruction jump if no bit tfx comma target. So where actually it should roll back? It should roll back to this. It should come back to this, right? So this is going to be a loop. Okay, once the loop, once it reaches, it reaches ff hexa, okay, it will roll back to where? It will roll back to 0, right? The th register, the tl register. Once it rollbacks to 0, the tf flag is being set, and then it will come out of that the loop. Since they have said the thing to be a square wave, right? So this is going to be a square wave, right? So this particular half of the clock cycle will be 0 and the half of the clock cycle will be 1. So that is why half of the clock cycle they have made, they have generated this particular delay, and then I need to complement so that it should go to logic 1. So that is why they have given complement p1.0. Okay, once we come out of the loop, what we need to do? We need to clear our tf flag, and then I need to go back where? To the step 4, that is keep an eye on the tf flag. No need to go back to this particular loading value since it is a auto reload program. Now uh, we have looked into the program, so what actually this program does. Now let us look into how actually what is the frequency which is being generated over here. So first let us take in terms of time, and then what is the total delay which is being generated by this particular program, and that total time what we are going to get, that we are going to convert that back to frequency. As we know, it is being given that my crystal oscillator frequency is 11.059 megahertz, but the frequency which is being fed to the timer, it is not going to be the same as crystal oscillator. As we know, it is going to be divided by 12. So the crystal oscillator divided by 12, we are going to get somewhere around 921 kilohertz. And if you convert that into time, so the time what you are going to get, it is going to be 1.085 microseconds. Okay, so this 1.085 microseconds is going to be this is the time required to get incremented one time. Okay, now as we know, the total number of counts which is being there, it is going to be 256. Okay, the value what we are having, initial count value what we are having, this is 5 which is being given over here. The count what we are having, it is 256. Now if you subtract this, because this is going to be the initial count, right? So 256 minus 5, it is going to be 251, and the amount of time what is required to increment one time, so that is 1.085. So how many number of times it is going to increment in order to reach ff? So it is going to increment 251 number of times. So 251 into 1.085, you will get somewhere around 272.33 microseconds. So this particular 272.33 microsecond, this is meant for only half of the cycle now. Okay, so if you want to generate a square wave, basically we have half of the cycle to be logic 0 and half of the cycle to be logic 1. So the total time what we are going to do is, it is going to be the twice, right? That is why the total time we can do, that is multiplied by 2. So the total time what we are getting, it is going to be 544.67 microseconds. Okay, so this is the time or the time delay which is being generated. So I need to calculate what is the frequency. Now if you want to convert that to frequency, as we know frequency is inversely proportional to the time, so f is equal to 1 by t. If you do that particular thing, the value what you are getting, that is 1 divided by 544.67 microseconds. If you convert, if you do that, if you calculate that, the value what you are going to get is going to be 1.83597 kilohertz. So the frequency which is being generated by this particular program is going to be 1.83 kilohertz. Okay, so now let us look into one more program. So again the same program, again we need to calculate the frequency. As we know that in the previous this thing, the value what we have got, it is going to be what, it is being 1.83 kilohertz, something like as 1.83 kilohertz. Okay, so even the initial value, initial count value what we had given was 5. Okay, and it got incremented till ff hexa, but the delay which is being generated is somewhere around 544 microseconds, right? But if you want to increase more, if you want to have more delay, but you want to program in terms of mode to programming, then what actually we can do, that is being given over here. Since it is a 8 bit, the value is going to be very less, and then if you want to have more uh, lesser frequency, or if you want to have a more time delay, so how actually we can do that particular thing, that has been explained in this program. Okay, now they are asking us to find the frequency of a square wave again at port 1.0. now if you look at the thing over here, this is 02 hexa they have loaded into T mode. Now if you convert, if you look at this particular T mode register, 0000 and then 0010. So timer 0 is being used over here. Okay, and th value is being loaded with 0. So it is going to count from where to where, it is going to count from 0 to 255. Okay, so since it is counting from 0 to 255, the total number of counts, it is going to be what, it is going to be 256, right? So the total count is going to be 256. But since I'm if I want since I'm having if I wanted to have a more delay, so what I'll be doing is that I'll be using nested loops. The nested loop part we had seen in delay programs, which we had studied in module 3. Okay, so how actually we are doing, so I'll be loading, or I'll be taking a register, and then I'll be loading that particular register with some value. Okay, and then see here we have loaded the register with the value, and then here I am calling the delay. So in the once the delay subroutine has been called, at that time we are starting our timer. Okay, so delay program is being called. Okay, and then the timer has been started, and then we are going to keep an track on my TF flag whether it is going high or not. Once the TF flag is being done, I need to stop my timer, and then I need to clear my TF flag. I'll decrement this particular register value one time, and then again I'll come back to this loop. Okay, so here we are performing the timer operation in terms of starting and then stopping the timer 250 number of times. So this 250 number of times we are starting and stopping, and then the timer itself, it is going to take 256 number of cycles in order to complete one particular value. Okay, once it comes back, so since they have asked us to generate a delay with a square wave, right? So this particular square wave, this is the delay which is being generated half of the time. So again we need to complement. So once the register value is being 0, after that what I'll do, I'll come back here. Okay, so complement, and then again you roll back to this again part. So here what actually, this is a subroutine program, and then this is a nested loop form. Okay, so let us look into what actually this thing. As we know, the timer is going to take, since the value is 0, it is going to take 256 counts. But this loop what we are having over here, this is going to be what, this is going to be uh, this is going to repeat 250 number of times. Okay, so this loop is going to repeat 250 number of times, and this particular instruction is going to take 256 counts. Okay, now if you look at this, if you want to calculate the time delay which is being generated by this particular program, it is going to be what? This 250 represents the loop which is being generated here, and 256 represents the count value which is getting incremented the number of times, and 1.085 is the clock which is being fed to this particular timer. And since we have two different cycles, that is half cycle to be negative logic 0 and then another half cycle to be logic 1, so I'll be multiplying this whole thing with the 2. So what time I'll be getting is, I'll be getting 138.88 milliseconds. This is the total delay which is being generated by this particular program. Now if you want to convert that to frequency, as we know frequency is inversely proportional to time, and so f is equal to 1 by t. If you do 1 divided by 138.88 milliseconds, we will be getting a frequency of 72 hertz. So this is how we are going to calculate the frequencies which is being generated by this particular program. Okay, so since this is similar to the mode 1 programming, uh, we have looked into how actually we can calculate the program in terms of how actually we can calculate the delay in terms of the programs. In the next lecture we shall look into the basics of serial communication. So how actually the communication part is being done, how actually we can transfer the data in terms of serially and then parallelly. Basically there are two different types, that is parallel and then serial. We'll be concentrating more on serial communication or in the next lecture. Okay, thank you.